hard pass, and then on Tuesdays we do the progressive stuff. So this is just going to be inside of your partner's closed guard, warm up. We're going to go through the same process as we always do. 2 lapels, connection here, or at least prepare for connection here. If they go to bump you, you can glue yourself to the quadricep, and then use this as a frame to drive into their ribs or their sternum so that they can't break your posture forward. If Jason wants to pull his knees to his head and I'm not prepared for it, he's going to get one hand or both hands on the mat, and that's when danger strikes. So I tell everyone, try to keep your hands away from the mat. If you're going to have to frame, I try to frame out as far as I can, but I got to keep something attached. If I try to frame too close, that's when they can start trapping arms, breaking posture. So from here, 2-on-1. Again, this is floating. I'm not gluing it right away. I'm not anticipating it. It's only there for when he does go to break, and I have to control my hips and start working through. So we're 2-on-1, close connection. We're going to reach back, fighting the patella, break the guard, create space, get ready for the knee cut pass. Okay. If they throw the knee shield, that's fine. We're only getting to this point for the first couple sets, and then we'll move on to the standing pass. So again, we're here, 2-on-1. If partner wants to grab grips, feel free to grab grips. Just go through the breaking process.
Okay.
You know, break, create space. Okay, so 2 each side switch. Don't go to a pass. Just go to the break to where you're beginning the knee slice, and then move on. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. How are you? Good for it. Go. This way? You got it. Step with that one. So this one, that one goes on, and that one pins it. Nope. Also pins it. Here, I'll so go ahead. So you could either knee, honestly, has a pass. So, but in this case, yep. So go ahead and create space by opening your hip up. Yeah. So when you're here, the most important thing about being a topside guard is your base. Without it, you're tipsy-turvy or topsy-turvy, and you're going to just get done at yourself. But an upper belt's going to just continue to sweep, right? So here, when you go to break the guard, my legs stay wide. Okay. As soon as if I have to bring this knee in first to create space, this is my most vulnerable position. Both knees are not touching but close, or even if they're touching, all Robert has to do is maybe start dumping me over, and I have no base here. So when I create space here, once I break the guard open and I want to get this knee across the body, I have to create space with this one first open up, or you can start to stand, come and then come through. So with the knee cut pass, it's the opposite knee crossing the body. You can go same side for sure. Same side equals it's just a different pass. It's just a different technique. But as you open, make your stay in your base. Yeah, stay in your base. This is not a base. This is a tall, skinny pillar that has no support. Yeah, this is a good base. 2 pillars. Good. So there you go. That feels better, dude. Keep those hips as low as you can. They don't have to be stuck to the ground. But the better you are, the lower you are, the better base you have. Where you're finishing, you're going to finish.
I haven't seen you in a year in like a month.
Once you guys have each gone 2 to each side, just stand by. No rush. No rush. Don't rush through this, guys.
Get better.
I wasn't doing more activities.
Correct. Yeah, it like makes you float.
And then it's that's pre your shoulder and then post really makes it.
But you know when you're going.
We didn't record it.
Oh yes, yeah. That's a good. I'm sure.
You might have to change it. Marlo. Oh, okay.
Nose first, which isn't hard because my nose is.
CD just coming out of that. Just feel the spring, create space. Okay. Cool. I'll have Eric out here. That's just more on the back, please. That's just more repetitions of going through. Give me a 180 rotation. That's just more repetitions for you guys to continue this motion here. You're gonna find yourself in this position a lot, especially white belt against white belt, and I hate to say it, even upper belts do this too when they're on the bottom. They want to force you into activity, so they just stay closed. They keep it really tight. They start trying to play with grips, even if they're not trying to break your posture. They want you to make the first move. That is somewhat of an upper belt technique. Let them make the mistake and you capitalize on it. But it's not fun when you're training. Create the activity. If someone's not initiating it, then take it upon yourself to initiate it yourself, especially during training. If it's a competition, okay, that's a little bit different because there's something on the line. But in here, there's nothing on the line. You're gonna learn whether you win, lose, submit, don't get submit, like, it doesn't matter. So don't ever find yourself in this position where you're the guy on the bottom and I'm just gonna squeeze these. And you look back and you're like, okay, there's 4 minutes left. We're still here and there's 3 minutes left. We're still here and the round's over. And you're like, what the fuck? Okay, so you're gonna find yourself here in this position a lot. So the last thing I want, like I said earlier, is for him to break me down. That's what he wants. But you're gonna get broken down eventually. If that's the case, capitalize on that, and this is where the stand-up guard pass comes. So if Eric does his job, I'm breaking, but he's got it. He tucks his knees in and he breaks me down. Feel myself going, I'm going to find any opportunity to pin his shoulders to the mat. When we drill this with precise technique, I can grab the lapels, fold them into his armpits, my knuckles go into his armpits, and I can drive my head to the mat and start walking myself forward, okay? That's, again, like I said, that's drilling with precision, which we need to do when we do this for the first few reps with each other. But then we get into that in a live roll, you can't perfectly find every armpit. It's just a matter of doing what you can to keep his shoulders pinned to the mat so that when you start coming forward, he loses the mobility to move to side, which is how he's going to sweep you. You can't get swept by the opponent on the bottom with both his shoulders on the mat. But as soon as he picks a side, now I'm in a sweeping, vulnerable position. But if both shoulders are on the mat, there's no sweep until I start coming too far forward, and then he can do a backward roll. So that's just you taking your posture too far. So there's that happy medium, right? So in this case, again, he goes to break us down. Attack or pin shoulders, head to the sternum solar plex area, and I'm starting to get in that 3-point position stance with my feet, like a track runner when they're getting ready to launch. I need to be able to launch off of 1 foot at least. Both feet don't need to come up. If 1 foot comes up, you're gonna have that instinctive foot that comes up naturally. Go with it. Find that line where the wall and the floor meet. That's kind of that neutral playing zone. That's where your eyes want to be as you travel. If they're too low, then my head follows my eyes. You can look up, but I try not to look away from my opponents typically, so I find that neutral ground. So Eric goes to pin. I start driving up. As I'm driving his hips, I'm driving my hips into his hips, but I don't need my head to start coming down. That's sweep city right there. So as I come up, I control the lapels, and I start bringing my knees in. This is where people start to make the mistake. They keep these lapels too tight and they stay here. Like, well, I can't posture up. I'm holding on to the grips. I can't pick them up. Slide with the lapels until you can get to a very strong positional posture where I can bring my hips in, keep my back nice and strong, but I gotta hold on to these. I gotta stay connected here. But that doesn't mean I gotta start here and try to just ride them up. Partner's gonna go for the dummy sweep. These are my tag lines. This is my safety line right here. As soon as I let go of these, I'm on my butt. So partner on bottom, really try to dump your partner on top. Partner on top. Hold on to these lapels. Pinch the knees in. He goes to ride it. Drop my hips, and I keep the lapel. Go ahead. Okay, good. Go for it once, twice. Relock the guard. You're standing, so now we're gonna go into the guard break. Keep one. Same technique as if we were still on our knees. Break the guard from here. This is another mistake I see very frequent. They break the guard, but the legs stay really close. Even if Eric can't get the dummy sweep from here, he can still get a number of sweeps or entries, single leg X, you name it. We don't want that. So as soon as that guard breaks on that side, I'm stepping back. This is when we start going into daily Hiva from the bottom, but from here, when I step back, I keep control of this lapel, and now I go into a leg drag. I'll go over this again. This leg I need to control from finding the hip again. I'm gonna work my hips in. You can do this with no hands, because essentially all you're doing is passing this leg over, but do it with hands. We're gonna pass the leg all the way over and complete the leg drag. Okay, so from the top, we're in guard position. There goes to break the guard. Control the shoulders. Start driving. Find both lapels. As I posture up, let it track. Go ahead. Go for 2 sweeps. Yeah, that was close. Yeah, that was close. Lock it back up. Pick your side. As soon as this guard breaks, I need to get this leg up. Okay, I'm gonna control the close leg. My hips start coming back in. When I say my hips come back in, I need to stay in a strong stance. I'm not bringing both legs to bring my hips in. Pretty simple. So again, if I come back to Eric with both feet in like this, he's just gonna sweep again. You can still stay in that strong stance and move from there just like a striker would move. A striker doesn't move conventionally. He stays in that powerful position, or a wrestler, same way. If a wrestler were to move like this, that's the double leg, single leg. You're on your butt. So a wrestler moves in that position where they're safe from the takedown and also able to strike. So it's the same thing here. When he breaks the guard, or when I break the guard, and I get this leg back, I can still move back into him, but I want to stay in that strong stance so that he can't achieve a sweep or daily Hiva grip. One more time. Sorry. Pinching the knees in. And then from here, we'll just stop here. We don't need to. You have them where you want them from here. I'll come around and help you guys out. If it doesn't make much sense, there are a lot of steps. I did a lot of talking, but we'll get to what's I like.
I think one little thing you're doing instinctually that might help, that I learned 2 years in, as you're doing that staggering stand, pinch your knee towards your opponent's face. It really helps your base. If your knee starts going outwards, away, you're going to lose your balance. So what I'm saying is, as soon as he got to the stagger stance, instead of opening up his knee away from his opponent, you kept turning it in. That gives you your base. This is where I'm getting swept.
Yeah, so, like,
Yeah.
Mike's right, it is very instinctive,
I know that, because I'm trying to work on
Yeah,
it.
I like the leg drag pass. If I'm here, as soon as, winning the battle is from the hip to the armpit, and if I come out here to win that battle, I'm just kind of giving him what he wants to get below my center of gravity. So anytime I start making my passes tight, I want to trap the hip. He can't fold underneath to get an underhook. Typically from here, I can start pinning the shoulders down, use my grips to get the next one in, and then reabsorb that space. Yeah, that's a small detail that will help a lot.
Wide feet, narrow knees, like you gotta keep.
So go ahead, partner up, work through this. Go one each side, and then switch so we can just get a lot of reps in, and I'll come around and tweak your guys' technique. On three, 1, 2, 3.
Stand up. Working with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go to your 3-point football stance. They say hut hike. Now you drive towards the lock up and drive up. You say deploy stance here. Remember as you posture, those rails, those hands. Good.
And then really start to step around and pressure in with this hip. Yeah.
And you're trying to get wide, and then pull this one over at the same time?
Exactly. Okay. You're shelving on that knee, and you're using that knee to trap that.
Now, this leg, is that good out there, or do I need to have this back this way?
I think it's a little better.
Okay.
I was gonna go in like that.
That's what I was
When you
wondering.
moved your foot, I couldn't get in front of you. I'll give you much rep.
So now, if you can't close the door, make it bring your feet tight together. But if you can't, go sweat it. There you go. Good. That's perfect. So now, release one.
Reverse.
Pop that down like a piston strike and step back. The same one you piston strike. Okay, good. So now you can get on this rib. Yeah.
Am I going?
And so now, I want you to stay in that same position of your feet. One at a time. Step back forward and then get a shot. Yeah, so now you're underneath this. Now from here, you lay on this one. As we drop your hands over, take the shoulder and press. Yeah, that leg goes forward. You pass it through. And you put it on. Watch that. And you sit down like that. You can stand over it. You can stay standing. This is a little bit harder for you bigger fellas.
It really helps to the base is good here, but it really kills that dummy sweep and then pinch your knees together.
You're pinching your knee.
Pinch my knees together on this.
Get behind
this hips here.
Yeah.
Look at his toes too. His toes are getting worse well. So you start to cut that angle and create this tension on the hip. It's very neat to use hands. Hip in, like illness, and then reach up through it.
Depending on how you react to this, go for a leg lock, all the way so it's just at that way, we're facing it.
Yep.
Yeah, you just slow yourself down.
You want to drive in? You can stay. You can even stay down. Drive in. Yep. Find those tag lines. Pinch your knees together.
And if you are training for that, keep doing it. Don't deviate from that process because I don't want to. Especially when you're not training with someone. So yeah. Not on the streets. On the streets we go for victory by any means necessary.
I get a lock back up again because I'm a pain in the ass.
Okay, so here, Joe, so you jump in real quick.
Start to even like creep this more and more and more so you can feel that spring-loaded motion on this. To see how your hips are out, you can even push your hips in. You can like delete that around. Yep. Exactly. Now you're here. You want to shelf this leg right on top of that, and then push. You don't even necessarily need to have this one. If you only get one, that's the one you want. Yep. Just stay pinched on that hip. I'm kind of scared. So you rotate it and just could not move.
It seems like I'm pushing you way too far, so this time you keep pushing up like up on your head.
The knee can stay there. Sit down and close that. That works too. But from here,
Yeah, you can break it down. A lot of people, even like the no gear, they grab the back and
really what happens, depending on if I hold it,
even better if you get your knees behind or whatever you think. Yeah, around the back of the leg. That's a little stronger for me. Even for outside the leg, so leverage. Just pinch those knees. It kills that. So you can hold on to a single. You can come to a double here on your lapel. As soon as you break that guard, step away. Start creating that spring tension on this.
Yeah. So when he was doing it to me, I could feel that my legs wanted to go around.
Yeah, exactly.
It was harder to not do it.
okay, good. So that's twisted. And now you're leg dragging this way. Grab the hips forward. And it's just a quick. Yeah. One thing I want to avoid is them to be able to stay on the other and okay, I got it.
And then immediately come around, yeah, show that tighten. Oh, I think so. I want that. Yep. I want to start turning your wheels, but you don't. Jump flat. I'm going to start trying to turn around. And recover guard, right?
Yeah. There's no way.
Sometimes if I move forward, I feel like
You can already break it. Pinch your glutes together, Leah. That's nice. Drag your hips in. Very nice. Okay.
Single man.
I didn't see the beginning, I just said the end. I was just telling him the same thing. I want to see where that.
Get him, Robert.
One. Well, that's a big deal.
Get him. Get him.
Leave under the knee. Underneath. And now guide his knee towards
So
that.
even with the underhook there, I really can't do anything from there.
It's not a bad deal for me either. Because now I have your arms back.
Or you can just, whatever it is, dude, I give you less muscle, you're just sweeping on me. That makes sense. Kind of like, you have control of leg without grabbing, so you just got to just keep guiding and crushing. So, who's doing that?
If I grab his collar, I'm pinching his knees already. As he comes in, he's just riding my head down. Yeah. He let
Just those knees.
let go of that. So take it that way. Let
Do that. Do the sweep again. You can grab both attack lights. Ah, you didn't let it grab. I'll show you.
I heard sweep him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what we do what he was told to do.
Once he felt, he had a little separation. So he could pin the knee, but he just
Go for the sweep.
he's pinning the knee now. He's doing that. See,
Really go for the
he's
sweep.
trying this time. Swap it around.
Okay. So now I'll have Eric do it to me, and I'll kind of show you what you're doing, and I'll just make a couple little tweaks on that. So when you're here, everything looks good. You're pinching. Go ahead and go for this. So if I keep my hips back, I'm creating that perfect little break for him. So what I'd rather see you do, it's not a sit, but I'm essentially trying to bring my hips underneath and in front of me. You're squatting. You're squatting, but usually a squat, you go to squat and sit back, right? It's a squat, but as Eric goes for it. So I'm squatting, but bringing my hips forward. Go ahead and do it. Do it.
So less your weight is
Yeah,
farther
you're
back.
kind of, and again, this all plays into where your eyes are too sometimes. The further I look down, the more my hips go back. So keep that good neutral horizon. And obviously when you're this close to the wall, the wheel changes.
Yeah.
I'm finding the wall and the floor. So find the horizon, and I'm squatting, but by bringing my hips forward, I'm getting that good posture. If I just squat, I'm still leaning forward a little too much, my butt's back. But if I squat, see where my back kind of,
And I can feel the pressure all in the back of the knees too.
yeah, and I can feel the quiver king.
Yeah.
He's the quiver king.
It's only my 5 partners. I
So,
get.
one more time, Eric, so we can really feel that.
This is when I say, when you start feeling that break, this is when you got the back. Yeah, this is control. Now you're going.
Good, go for it. Good for it, hips forward, hips forward. Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better.
Because you're at 51, 40.
Finish the rep.
So if you can just walk that foot a little bit more. Yes. Yep. Boom. Shelf that.
Like I said, I see him doing it. I was like, I know, but I've never broken it down.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You don't know if it's cheap techniques you don't always see what you're doing from the outside. Yeah, and it is those changes to it. Yeah.
People are like, oh, this one. I've never.
Cool. So, where's the major struggle in that? Go ahead and speak up. If everyone's got one, that's fine. But maybe they're all different too.
Using my appendages.
One, right?
I think I saw with my 2 partners, or 2 here, they were holding on to this one too long, instead of pinning, as they were doing the leg right.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
They're holding on to the grip a little bit too long, so they're transition pinning the knee in the hip.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense.
No. So here, I'll have Mike out here. Go ahead here. I get it. So this is where, when I was explaining it over here, I didn't mean to rhyme, but it came out as a rhyme. Hips then grips. So the leg drag is really all about the hip position or your control of their hips from being able to shoot back up. Generally, as a bottom player, you want to be underneath someone's center of gravity. That's the best place to be. That's when they are at their lightest. You really can't use your weight when someone's underneath your center of gravity, even if you're a 300 pounder under a 150 pound person. That 150 pound person finds that center of gravity, and they can not necessarily lift all 300 pounds, but they can shift the weight so that you're light on one side, and one side all 300 may be on, and it's feather on the other side. So that's kind of the whole purpose. But with this, if I'm under Mike's center of gravity, but I have no control of the hips, that's where the sweeps come, okay? So from here, when we break this guard and we're in this position to make movement happen, I need to control the hips. So hips, then grips. There's really no need to marry to a grip. Now, with this, I do like to grab a tuft of material on this patella, inside patella here, but it's not necessarily because I want to own it, it's just easier for me to move. So grips aren't always a matter of slowing someone down. Let him play, let him be a part of the movement, but not so much control the movement. So if I go to push Mike's leg away, I don't need to continue to control what it's doing. But as Mike goes to move this leg to try to recover, it's just along for the ride. So again, I'm not married to this grip. This grip isn't the end all be all. Actually, none of them really are unless it's a submission. So from here, I need to control the hip, then the grip. So either I have this grip or I don't. Whether it's just placed on there in a no-gi position or in a gi position or in street pants, it's there. So as I go to take the center of gravity, my center of gravity on top of his, and I go to complete this leg drag, no grips, control the hips. Once I've secured the hips, now I can come back to the grips. And then from here, again, I don't need to stay married to these grips like it's the end of the world. I'm watching the clock tick down to win the match. Control the hips, then the grips. I'm active on both feet. I haven't come down to lose all tension. Whether I stay active on one side, I lose tension on this side once I hit the knees. And then that hips helps him create movement. So I'm controlling the hips. I'm driving my hips in the same way I was doing to protect myself from the dummy sweep. And then I can start working my grips. These grips are not
Black belt on the mat.
black belt on the mat. These grips are not where? These grips are not a step 1, 2, 3 kind of deal. It's kind of where you want them to go. I can go 2-on-1. I can go 1-on-1. I can just go 1. I can start using this to keep him from bringing his knee in, and I can start working my passes from there. So hips and grips. I'm not trying to say that grips are not important. They're extremely important. That's the beauty of wearing the gi. But there's no reason to find a grip and keep that grip forever. Or even use that grip as, again, trying to move someone. Sometimes, actually most of the time in jiu-jitsu, it's easier to move yourself than it is to move your opponent. Your grip will help you, but it's not because that grip's forcing them away. That grip could just be keeping someone in place. That grip can literally just be kind of like a satellite, just kind of going with the motion to set other things up. But try not to marry to that grip where I can't lose this grip. If I lose this grip, it's the end of the world. That's usually you find yourself in trouble. So hips and grips. Anything else on that?
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
Yeah, great point. Great point. Eyes on the horizon. Obviously, the wall and the ceiling meeting changes when you're next to the wall because you have to look lower. So think of it more of, find the horizon. If you look down, your hips are going to square back and you're going to get dummy swept. Again, looking up is taught sometimes, but I hate looking away from my opponent, or at least if they're out of my peripheries. I try to keep them in my peripheries. I don't need to lock eyes with them, but I definitely still want to keep them in my peripheries. So I don't love the look to the sky or the prayer. There's a bunch of other ones too, but so yeah. Cool. Go ahead and grab some water, and then we'll move on to the next technique.
I somehow want to add nips.
Hips, grips, and then nips. That's when we go to yogi. That's when we go to yogi. Because the nips are exposed.
I've always looked at my these kids, I go, hips and front, grips and front. They're our friends. You took my son-in-law, I don't get it. What is grip?
Yeah, well, it's like one of those things you look at grip and it's like, it's just, why is it so close? Yeah.
No. Nope. I'm in law enforcement. But I go to school. I got kids and I was a coach. Okay, no.
I'd rather be wrong on that.
Bulldog at heart.
I'm good, I'm good.
Bulldog get tired everywhere.
My forced yoga.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have Eric out here. So we've been on the De La Hiva position legally, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go from there, and we'll just start in the De La Hiva position. So this is, I don't think Tanner's showed you guys this sweep. I know he knows it, but basically it's a simple De La Hiva sweep from the collar grip. So we've worked the De La Hiva with the sleeve grip, cross sleeve grip. You can use any grip with the free hand with De La Hiva. It just kind of depends what you're trying to do. In this case, I'm trying to keep his posture broken. In most cases you are, but with the sleeve grip, you have a control, but you can't really keep their posture down. If Eric sinks his hips in, yeah. But I still have this grip. This grip is still mine. But in this case, I want the lapel. The lapel absolutely keeps that grip down. So kind of like I was just speaking just a couple seconds ago about how you don't want to marry yourself to a grip. The grip is just kind of along for the ride sometimes. It has purpose, but it's not the main driving force. Well, in this case, it kind of is the main driving force up to a certain point. So a grip can also keep tension, just like a slingshot. You have tension until you release the tension, right? So it's kind of like a strategic grip break on your own or by yourself. So this plays a little role, and I'll kind of explain here. So we have the lapel grip, the near side lapel grip. We have our De La Hiva pant sleeve grip here. No gi, obviously you can go for the heel, Achilles area, but in this case, I want to get a good portion of pant sleeve here, and what I need to do is extend Eric out so he's wide. So with the leg that does not have the De La Hiva hook, this is the De La Hiva hook, I'm going to find the inside of Eric's leg, and I'm going to stretch him out and sit up at the same time.
Can we talk about your left hook though real quick?
Yes, sir.
What is the activity on it? Are you bringing it up? Are you bringing it across? Are you hooking it in? Like, where's your tension on
Sure.
that left leg?
So with De La Hiva, you can have I guess what you would call like a shallow De La Hiva. You're right here, closer. You have a lot more shin exposed. And then you have like the super deep De La Hiva where it's like far, you're trying to find the far hip.
Yeah.
Call this, or
Tweener.
a tweener Hiva. A between a Hiva. So I never want this thing just kind of dangling at its own will. I kind of always want tension. So whether that's pulling in here, backside of the calf, kind of pulling in a little bit, okay, and then my ankle's always active. So I am curling my ankle up, which is my hook. Without it, he can break this grip, step around, pop it down, get it on the mat. So I guess we're in between a Hiva. I want a strong hip, and as I go, drive down, as I go to stretch him out, this leg also extends out, but I'm not going for a deep De La Hiva. Tanner's been showing you guys the deep De La Hiva stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I go to extend out, key, sit up. The key to this is sitting up. I'm still active on this. I'm still hooked tight, and I'm stretching him out as far as I can. So once again, we get into this position. When you start this setup, partner, bring your base in. No, just your legs, you're fine here. So just the legs here. So you can learn to cut this angle and really extend them out. As I extend, I sit up. Okay? Sit. So I just want you guys to drill that a couple times each side. So square up. Grab the pant sleeve, grab the lapel, find the hip, get into your De La Hiva. As you can see, I'm off to the side, right? I'm not square. Your knees cannot, most people, or all people mostly, cannot keep a square De La Hiva. This is terrible tension on all your joints. So you're kind of off to a side. So we'll get here, pant, collar, I'm gonna extend and stretch and sit up. Go back down, and a stitch, stretch up. Okay, so I want you guys to drill that. Let's go two each side. Everyone has a natural De La Hiva side they play, and then the unnatural side. I typically don't like playing on the right, but I gotta practice it more and more and more and more and more. The more ambidextrous I can be in this sport, the more dangerous you are, for sure. So go ahead, drill your perfect side, and then drill your shitty side, and then we'll move on. On three, 1, 2, 3. So take
pushing that out.
Grab that.
Now, Michael's on the bench.
This one, push, sit up, same time.
That's it. That starts to go up.
Right there.
Let me try the other side.
You gotta get, see how you're square? You gotta
No, because I'm setting up a school. So from here, we're going to set up. So I call that. You can see.
So I had to scramble spots. I don't like it, but I can get that.
Yes, because I think you and I are in the same category of short legs and trying to get. Yeah. You got frog legs.
This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Steve, we asked a question. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I like it with a collar back. That's the whole shit. That's all it is. The difference is you get this one.
Oh, I was giving you that.
Don't worry about it. But this is. But see what I mean? I had to adjust that. It's not just knowing the nuances. What am I looking for?
Okay, so basically this is like on the ground.
Yeah. So you need to see the entrance.
As soon as
Same size? I'm just showing you that I'm seeing this here.
As soon as you see, you got to do.
Oh, go to the collar. So one more time. Not the sleeve. Now stretch it out. Yeah, there.
Oh, then, yeah.
So I know different directions, but I have to sleeve, collar.
Yeah, because I'm not going to just stand there. I'm going to attack you, and then once I bring my hand down.
I don't know. I just couldn't get that foot, I couldn't pick it up.
Done. Done.
So just knowing this is what you want, you can go to the next. Or you can just go to the
Stretch, sit up. Yeah, yeah.
Being real strong.
So, okay, so on this one, I like what you're doing, because you're basically doing the other
I mean,
side.
at least it busts you back down trying to get away.
And you did the heel. This time, again, but don't try and turn his heel. I want them to stay stand. I don't want them to come forward. So, get your grip on the face. So now, stretch them out, just sit straight up.
Laying flat on your back is good.
So the other one is like hands down from the heel. That person, I'm going to create this one, still standing, and it needs to but he's stretched out. And you're going to see
And still keep that. Yeah.
Do that to reach to keep your hands and toes. Make it to this.
The setup that gets me.
Yeah, no, right on.
But you're saying, you're pummeling it.
Far enough.
And you can see the difference if you're in a safety or my partner, my opponent, and you're coming on your face. I'm at a disadvantage here. I know I can do this. That's true, I can do this.
All right, real quick. This is gonna work best, and I just found out that Tanner did show you guys this one, but it's the same sweep, just a different approach. I believe he showed it from the deep De La Riva. This is not from the deep De La Riva, but this really only is gonna be effective if you sit up as high as you can. So we can't be lazy on the sit up where we're here, and when he extends, I'm just now pulling him back towards me. I need to be active on this sit up, because now what happens is it's easier for me to get this foot on the mat, plant. If I'm back here and I need to plant, I got a lot of ground to cover, because essentially it's the same sweep you guys already went through. I'm gonna base out, and then this is what I was talking about with the slingshot. The tension is here. Usually they do the opposite of the tension you give them, so he's gonna continue that posture up, and as I plant, I can plant the next foot and start to kick the toe out to go for the sweep.
So in my memory's the garbage, but I think we saw this just right at the tail end of class, so we didn't spend a lot of time.
Cool, perfect. Thank you for that interjection. So that's great. So again, there are some complexities, or this can look complicated, and like I need tension, and then at the end of the day, we have our De La Riva. I'm gonna stretch him out, sit up as high as I can. I'm gonna keep this tension here to force him to react the opposite. I'm gonna palm down. I need to base on this leg as well, and so when I base here, I can start this rotation and take his foot out from underneath him in the same direction his toes are pointing. He's wide. A wide base sucks. So I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about him being able to sit down to defend this. If he stays out there, if you just literally do like a sumo squat from there, stay wide like there, do sumo squat. This doesn't help him, especially with this tension here. As I'm pulling and he's trying to retract that tension, I can still. Okay, so one more time. Sometimes the sweep can look beautiful where it's literally just the leg taken out from underneath them. If you have to assist with the other leg, it's okay to give it use it as like a knee tap. So we're here, I extend, base, he's retracting his pressure up here. When I go to complete the sweep, I can knee tap here too, to take that out. Okay, so I'll go through the whole thing now from the top. Don't be lazy on the sit-up. Hit your pant grip, extend them out, sit all the way up, base, take me out, and then from here we can go to a pass. But just work that unbalancing of them. Partner on top, give them the reaction that they need. Posture up as do the opposite. As they're trying to break your posture, do the opposite. Give them that opposite reaction so they can feel that tension. So again, I'm not letting go of that grip though, but I am letting go of the resistance, so to speak.
Are you letting it go when you're making that connection back to heel? So they're going up while the feet are coming this way?
No, I'll keep it so I'm attached and I can continue the pass. I mean, typically someone hits the ground, they're going to want to turn back into you to re-wrestle or get topside position, right? But if I keep that, I have a line on. So, partner up. Make sure to, I want you guys to drill both sides, but really slow down and hone in on that good side you guys have. So those are like the highest of quality reps you're getting. And then I'm not saying treat your bad side like a lower quality rep, but I try to pay a little bit more attention and refine the side that I know I'm going to use the most. Just give it a little bit more attention, and then we'll go on. On 3, 1, 2.
Another one. Does it know you got? Does it matter which collar I have? Because sometimes I'll find either one works.
Near side.
Okay.
Near side.
I thought so, but I wasn't 100%.
That's why I say near side. It's technically a cross collar, right? But well, so in jujitsu lingo, square up with me. Same side, cross. Same side, cross, right? But now we're off to the side, and if I say cross collar, you might read that as, oh, cross collar, but it's squared up, that's the same side. That's why I said near side, because this is the one close to
No, I
the
wanna
sweet
make sure,
spot.
because
Near side,
I'm
sleep
never
side.
sure which one I'm.
Yeah, near side, near side. Watch out, set them up. Base, boom.
So it's basically a technical stand-up-ish.
Yeah.
Combine that with the hip bump.
Technical stand-up issue.
On three, 1, 2, 3.
You're not like elevating.
No, I didn't grab this one, I didn't know if that was optimal.
Sit up, sit up.
I want to hold on.
Yeah.
Not letting that pressure go. I mean, is it, are you giving it, or, I mean, is it?
I don't know. Oh, because I was pulling up. Maybe it's because you're sitting up. Let's try that. Let's try it. Sitting up more. He's got me down. He's sitting up. No, I'm. Go with this. So my.
Yeah. Yeah, you're sweeping, leg bump with this one.
That's all I really got.
Start doing this.
You got it. You got it. Work this before it gets over.
Excuse me.
No, keep the leg. Keep the leg. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right. You're correct. You're correct.
You got that knee tap?
Keep that. Keep it. Go back.
So you're like,
I think once I'm here, then coming up and really putting my hips in.
Okay.
Not until I get this side. Okay. I'm gonna stay going the same side. Go ahead, try this.
No, that's fine. That means we're good. That's a good thing. Here you go. Nice. Yeah, see. Okay, so, that's all right. So, so one thing I'll do is sometimes if you're a little too deep on the knee hip, so if we're here and I stretch him out, if Robert's got long legs, so you're kind of like, you're trying to use every last centimeter of toe you have. So from here, when you base, you might be too close to the foot. Now this is the problem with the taller guys. Shorter guys, it shouldn't be an issue. When you base out here, you plant this foot, bring this foot tighter to your butt, so you can kind of scoot out and attack more of this hip, or I'm sorry, attack more of the heel ankle, with not with your knee pit though. That might just be a little too tight, and if you gotta come here, so I'm pulling, Robert goes to pull back, it's that tension, and then I can find this ankle here.
So your hip is coming up, and you're kind of chopping.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to do with my hip still on the ground.
No, you definitely gotta get that, because your hip comes off the ground once this leg plants too. And again, feel that tension, slow down, Robert starts pulling up. Feel that tension, he's going up, use that momentum.
So let him pull himself back.
Absolutely. They're mostly, if they, you want to see if they don't pull themselves, you grab the heel and you don't pull them, and you go through the other swing, and you look late.
Can I try that one more time?
Watch it rotate. Sometimes you forget how tall you are. Stretch them out. Good. Yep. Yeah.
You gotta do it again. My hips up. That all roll. Look at that. See? That was good.
Yes, and they totally planked down and just roll it. Yeah.
Sometimes I know what I'm talking about.
So you